Well, today, which is Saturday afternoon, it's somewhat sunny. I'm hoping to receive a new diesel filter. I noticed last week and this week the car was kind of slow to start. So this is the car. The car's not been run since yesterday. It's cold. Well, the engine's cold anyway. It's 12 degrees centigrade outside, so it's pretty cool. I'm going to attempt to start the car, so there's no jiggery pokery going on here. This is the real thing, so it might start straight away or it might not. So turn the ignition on. You'll see the glow plug light went out. I need to press the clutch down to start it. The other thing I've noticed is the miles per gallon seems to have dropped, but anyway, I'll try and start the car, see what happens. Right, it didn't start there. That was quite a lengthy crank. There we go, started now. Let's see, I'll let the clutch out. Yep. So it has started, but this car starts instantly normally. So according to what I've been reading, it may well be the fuel filter that's at fault. As you can see, it says I've got 54 miles per gallon. I'm normally seeing 60 plus to the gallon, but it's dropped down to 54. It's 54 now. It was 54.1. Anyway, I'll turn it off. So, where's the fuel filter? Okay, let's have a look at that. Well, that's the location. So we're looking at the front of the car. It's there. So one of the things that concerns me is the clips that hold on the fuel lines. So there's a blue one and there's also an orange one there. The orange clip looks a bit like it's kind of out of line or something and covered in tape, but that's the part that will concern me the most. Apart from that, there's a couple of connectors. There's obviously a connector here that needs to be undone. There's a connector there. It was definitely easier on my i30, the Hyundai i20 I had before this. It shouldn't be too bad. I'm guessing I'll need to take out the air filter box and move this hose slightly, and then it looks like there's a couple of nuts or bolts, one there and one in the back there, to get the holder off the firewall. It doesn't look too drastic. All I need to do now is wait on Every delivering my fuel filter, and hopefully when the fuel filter arrives it's the correct one. So anyway, it's a bit cooler today. Autumn's definitely on the way, and I've now got a wet knee leaning against the car. Brilliant. Well, the man from Hermes or Every turned up, and he's brought my fuel filter. So it's an ST6030. ST6030. I did look it up on the SCT Germany, which seems to be part of the Manol group. And it does say that it's for my particular car. Does it say it on there? Kia Motors. There we go. Kia Ceed, Pro Ceed 1.6 CRDi and 2 litre CRDi. So that should be good. So Peugeot Lancia It should be an i30 in there. i30 2 litre, doesn't say 1.6, but anyway, should be the right one. There's only one way to find out, and that is to remove the original one. Well, I've turned the car around. It didn't start first crank of 5 seconds or something, so turned it off and started second crank. So I need to get, you'll see the little red dot there hopefully. I need to take that off, and I need to take, if I can get in, that one off, in there, and then there's one right down at the bottom, but I don't see an actual nut on that one, and can't see it for all the stuff in the way, so I'm going to have to take the top off the air filter. Let's see, I'm going to have to disconnect this electrical connector. It's disconnected. I'm going to have to disconnect this vacuum hose here that's attached to the air intake pipe that goes, looks like it goes into the turbo, and then I'll need to disconnect this pipe. I'll put some WD-40 on these clips before I even attempt to do anything, so I'll need to disconnect that and then just move that out of the way. See, I don't actually have a hose clamp. It's got some nifty zip ties on there, or cable ties, so I'll need to take them off. I've got spares in the shed, and then this has obviously been done before. There's a Jubilee clip clamped onto the turbo, so I'll need a flathead screwdriver for that, and then connectors. Is it just lift that yeah, lift that tongue up, push that out of the way. This one, I think it's the same, but at the bottom, push it down. I'll need to use two hands for that, but you can see there's like this tongue. I think it's, if you look at the bottom connector, it's like that, so I need to push that down and then I'll be able to bring this out, so it's hidden. So that one goes on there like that. Easy, it should be easy enough to do that. So main thing will be to get the air filter cover top out of the way, disconnect it from the hose, disconnect that vacuum line, and disconnect this vacuum line here. So I'll squirt some WD-40 on that hose clamp, and I'll put some on the threads. I think there's 3 nuts, looks like. Let's see, I'm guessing it's a 12mm, I would say. So let's do that and see where we go. Well, the airbox, I didn't bother taking too much off it. The filter's out, that's no problem. This connection here at the turbo, that was okay. I've undone this clip here. It's free and clear, but that's needing a bit of wiggling about. It's I think it's a bit rusted on there. I'm also looking at this bit, see if I can get it off there, and then maybe I can kind of, you know, twist it round. So that's not looking too bad. The only thing that's concerning me is this, there's something not quite right about that diesel fuel line clip there. So I'm thinking either I need to just lift it up very slightly and it'll pop up, because you can see if you look at that closely, it's snapped. There's no problem with it staying on there. Disconnected the vacuum from here. That was fairly easy, and then now I've twisted that, and that runs freely. So I'll just take this off, hopefully. There we go, it's off. I'll just put a bit of WD-40 or something on there just to keep that better lubricated. Here's the airbox here. So there's a little bit of oil in there. I don't know if that's how things usually are or not, but anyway, there's been a drip of oil coming out of that. Everything looks okay. This way, because I've just disconnected it from the turbo end, I've not had to bother disturbing these zip ties, so that's saved a bit of time. Got that quick release clip off. I don't know exactly what I did, but I did a sort of combination of pulling and lifting up. So it's come off, there's no damage or anything to it. I guess that should really be changed. But at this point today, it's just going to be clipped back on, and I guess it'll keep it in position. So I've got, let's see, I've got that bolt there, that nut. It's either, I think it's a 12. I've got that one to take off. Going to get a bit of WD-40 on this one, and the one down there, which is there, if you can see that, if it'll focus on it, there we go. It just seems to be a thread, there's not actually a nut, so I don't know if there was a nut on there when it came from the factory and somebody's mislaid it, or if there's not meant to be one on there at all. So I'm just going to get some WD-40, hopefully, onto that thread. That's it. I'll let that soak for a couple of minutes. I'll get socket wrench and see if I can remove the oh, but before I go as far as that, I've got a connector here, so I'll pull the tongue out, lift it up, that's disconnected. I've got a connector here, pull the tongue up, pull it out, and then it looks like I've got a tongue underneath, but I think I'm going, you can see it there, I think that's got to go down and then it'll pull out. So before, I'll do that with two hands rather than holding the camera at the same time, and see how we get on. Oh, and I've managed to cut my finger. My tip for getting that connector out, I had a very small flat-headed screwdriver, if that will focus, and I just put it in there and I just pushed it down, and then this pulled out very easily. So if you can't get your fingers in to pull it down, just put a very small screwdriver in, just push the tongue down. In fact, I'll give you a quick look at the connector so you can see. So there's the connector. You just need to push that tongue down, but if the screwdriver's in there, it'll just force that down, and it's not held on by much. So yeah, that was quite straightforward. So we'll move those three connectors out the way there to the side, and now I'm going to get the socket set, hopefully get the fuel filter out. Right, so that's the that nut. So that nut was a bit of a bugger. You can see with the colour of the threads, that one was easy enough. and that one was a bit of a bugger. So let's see if that just pulls out. I think I've got everything disconnected. That's it. So here we are. That's it off. Have a quick look. I would say this one looks a bit shorter than that one, but well, hopefully it's the same fitting. So I need to take this connector off at the bottom. This filter will be filled with diesel, so I'll just put it over somewhere where it's not going to be a problem. Connectors look okay in there. Right, so I need to undo this clip. It looks like there's a friction or interference clip there. It goes into that. The cable's held there, and then this will unscrew. So I might need to put a little bit of WD or something in there just to try and get that loosened off. This is the problem up here in Scotland. You get a hell of a lot of corrosion. But anyway, I'll put the camera down and I'll see about getting this connector off that mounting bracket. Just letting the diesel filter drain the fuel out. This is the bottom end sensor, whatever this is for. It looks like the original gasket is still on there, so that will presumably have to come off. Turn it over and have a quick check. Yeah, the O-ring, or whatever you want to call it, the rubber washer, is removed. So whenever you take something like that apart, always make sure that it's not been retained, because if you put two rubber washers or two gaskets, whatever you want to call them, chances are something could seep between them. But there's a new gasket on the new filter. I'll show you that here. So here's the replacement. You see it there? It's already on there. So that does indeed look a bit different. It's not as flat. Yeah, see, that's much more flat. But that doesn't mean to say it's not going to fit, but it's certainly not identical. So, next thing is to take these two bolts out. I think they're still 12, so I've got a 12mm socket ready. So let's get these two bolts out. Well, these are coming out easily enough. I just laid it flat and it's easy enough to break the bolt off. Quite dry in there. This one you'd obviously have to be careful with this connector. But if you use a deep dish socket, you shouldn't be damaging anything. That's that. So, presumably now, you can just pull it out. Yeah, so you can see it's not identical, but I'm guessing it will definitely fit. So what I'm going to do next is put that one there. I'll see about getting this removed. That might be more difficult than first thought. So what brand is this? Hearth and Bus, or perhaps Hearth und Bus, or Bus. Yeah, There you go, it tells you there, it gives you the advice. Apply a film of gas oil to gaskets, so basically some a little bit of oil, and I'll need to see if I can unscrew this by hand. I did it a certain way with my i20 the last time. I put it between the fence spars and then I twisted it off, so I'll see if I can do that this time. A bit of redneck engineering for you. I haven't even really tried to do it yet, but so I've got a bit of decking board, take up the space. Now what I'm planning on doing is putting that there, so I've got a pinch point at the top and I've got it holding at the bottom. Now of course, me being Superman, I'm going to use one hand, I'm going to turn this off. I mean, I'm maybe joking if I'm saying I'm Superman, but so it's on, and you start turning, and there you go, it's coming off. So obviously when you're taking this off, if you're going to do something like redneck engineering like myself, you need to be careful of this, that you're not going to push against that and break it. You need to be careful for these fuel hose connectors, make sure you don't bend them. So if you're going to do what I did, make sure it's going to contact that corner where that bolt hole is. That's going to go in, and then when you do the torque, the twist, it's only going to be the top of that bit of the pump. Now I'm not saying this is the right way to do it, it's just that's how I did it. But obviously ideally you'd have this on the ground and you'd have a fuel filter whip or some such device, and you'd take it off. Well, I don't have a fuel filter whip, and that's just the way I do things. But anyway, that's that done. Done did. So let's go back up. Nice day here today, as you can see. Bit of sunshine. Should be sitting on the deck having a beer. Now we're back at my workstation, we'll call it the workstation, yeah. I've got a little bit of oil in a cap. Just have a quick look at this. I'll get a bit of kitchen towel, I'll clean that off. I think that was diesel anyway. Yep. So yeah, I've got the oil here. I'll clean the surface off there. I need to take the seal off that, apply some oil here, so apply some oil there, and then I'll also put some wherever I put the connectors here. So I'll need to put a bit of oil on there. So a bit of kitchen roll first, clean it up, smear of oil, filter on, back into the housing. Dot of oil, just put some around that seal, another dot of oil. I even cut my bloody finger there as well. What I have to put myself through to put a video up on YouTube, it's unbelievable. Right, so there's plenty of oil in that. I'm going to screw it onto there first, so let's see if I can manage that one-handed. Oops, nearly spilt the bloody thing of oil. So that's that. I'm now going to put a smear of oil. In fact, I'm going to do this with two hands. Put a smear of oil on that end, because there's the rubber washer there. Smear of oil on there, and then I'm going to screw in this sensor or whatever it is. I don't know what you call this. Let me know in the comments if you know what this is called. So that's going to go in there, but a little bit of oil in there first. So that's in hand tight. And this is on hand tight. Next thing is to go back into the cage. Okay, so that's pretty much the cage reassembled. I have to tighten up the two 12mm bolts. I need to put this round here. In fact, I'm going to put a little bit of WD-40 on there, just to make sure I don't get any more corrosion. That's on there, and then I need to put this tab down, so I'm going to tighten these bolts up first. Okay, so that's that fully reassembled. It all seems to be going together fine. The connector has been slid onto the bracket again. The tab has been bent down to keep it out of the way. It all looks okay. There's the part number again if you need it. I'll put a link to the vendor I bought this from. It was on eBay, half price, £6.49 I think. So, yep, back into the car now. Alright, so that's slid back into place. Time to put the nuts back on. I've got the nuts here, 3 of them. I say, if I'm supposed to have 4 nuts, do let me know, but there's certainly not been any on that one for a while with the state of the thread. I suppose I could find a 12mm nut for it, but well, up until now it's not been a problem, I don't think. So, socket. Well, that's the nuts tightened up, the 2 at the top and the 1 in the back there. Time to put these electrical connectors back on. So, I think that one goes down at the bottom. That one with the big tongue there, and that one there. So is that all the way in? I think so. It looks like it's clipped in. So sorry, I'll put the camera away there rather than focus on what I was doing. So this one is the lower one, but I'm going to get a bit of kitchen towel first to clean that. Just make sure it's as best as it can be. Right, so we'll see what happens when I slide that on. Now, that does feel like that could come off, but there we go, that's it on. That's securely on now, so I could really do with getting that changed. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And then here's the blue one. Now I'm not going to put that on yet. I'm going to pump this fuel through first. Some people say it's about 10 pumps, but I think it'll be more. 6, 7, 8, 12, 17. In fact, maybe I should turn the ignition on first and see if that primes it. Well, I counted definitely more than 10 pumps. I think it was about 28 pumps before I got the fuel spurting out. So I'll put this on, so that's easy enough. That's on securely. I think I'll just need to order one of these for a future update, but it's definitely on securely, so that's not such a bad thing. It just doesn't look right. So that's that. I need to put the airbox back on. The first thing I'm going to do is I'll put the airbox back on, then I'll put this vacuum hose on. Take it from there. Alright, so I've tightened up the Jubilee clip as it is in this case. It's not a hose connector or hose clip. I haven't bothered having to do anything here, didn't disconnect it. The vacuum's on here, so the next thing I've got to do is this vacuum connector to the, I think it's a brake booster or the brake servo. So let's get that hose here. So was it that way or was it that way? I think it's that way. So I'm going to put a little bit of WD-40 on there and a little bit of WD-40 on there. That's everything back together. So there was 3 connectors there, and there's one more to go on here. That's that on. Don't think there's anything else. I need to put the engine cover on. So it looks back to normal now. Let's see if the car starts. Right, we're in the car. Glow plug light is on. That's not started straight away there. It's not started straight away there either. Not starting at all. That doesn't sound good. Oh, fired there. Right, so the question is, was that just air in the system, or was it that it didn't want to start? So I know for sure that I've changed the fuel filter. So what I'll do is I'll turn it off again. That's it off. Presumably there's fuel in the system now. Turn it on. Glow plug light off, clutch down. It didn't start immediately there, but it started definitely within a couple of turns, I would guess. So I'm going to turn it off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take it for a run. I'll tidy my tools up, take it for a run, and then I'll report back. Well, I've been for about a 3-mile run, I guess. I don't know if it's psychological, but it does feel like the car's picking up more smoothly, running more smoothly. I don't mean that it was rough before, but there's a general feeling of better smoothness or more refinement throughout the rev range, but again, that could be completely psychological. So I've turned it off. I've literally stopped for about 2 minutes now. Turn it on. As you saw there, the glow plug light went off, clutch down, started as normal, pretty much, I would say. So I'll just double check that. Yep. Nothing unusual about that, so that was successful. So I'm just wondering if I was overdue a fuel filter change because, well, to be honest, I was. My car I bought it 6 years ago this month, and I've never changed the fuel filter in that time. And as you'll see here, the car has now done over 190,000 miles, so can't complain about that. So it's obviously had a non-standard one fitted previous. It might have been done before I got the car, maybe at the point I got the car, I don't know, so maybe it's lasted 6 years. But see, it was only this week I had a problem with having to turn the ignition longer than usual, and it didn't fire up instantly. So anyway, hopefully that's it done, and I don't have to do anything else for a little while. But I think I will look for one of those fuel hose clips, because they're the sort of thing that's handy to have. So I will check on AliExpress and see if I can get them there, maybe for, you know, a couple of quid or something. I think they're on eBay for about just under £4 for 5. Of course I don't need 5, maybe need a couple. But anyway, I'll need to see how you actually change them. I guess it's just a thing that slides in. But anyway, enough waffling from me. Hope you're all having a good weekend, and I'm going to go in and get a cup of tea now. Okay, any questions, just ask. And don't feel shy to hit subscribe and like, you know. Get the Facebook, the YouTube algorithm worked out.